did you hear about the woman in West Virginia who framed the Pittsburgh Steelers tattoo she had taken off her dead husband's arm? Now, that's what I call having some skin in the game. Yeah, as the Lincoln-driving philosopher McConaughey taught us, time is a flat circle. You know what else is a circle? A ring. And coaches are fond of saying no one can ever take away that ring. But of course, those rings can and have been taken, sold, or lost. Still, the spirit of the point stands. Time waits for no man, but our deeds are etched into history. How we stack up that particular moment in time versus all the other moments in time is where things get murky and therefore makes it enjoyable for debate fodder with a beer in your hand. It's funny then how some debates around goats and their positional derivations have a period at the end instead of an ellipses. Confirmation to the Supreme Court is a lifetime appointment, as is apparently Mike Tomlin's job with the Steelers. And since roughly 1983, we haven't attempted to improve mobile coffee cup technology, even though there can't be a single human being who's actually satisfied with drinking out of that little hole in the plastic lid, then in its free time spews the hot liquid all over the car's cup holder. Anywho, some things are eternal, other things are worthy of an update. It wasn't that long ago baseball was the national pastime. Boxing and horse racing were baseball's only competition for our affection, but that time's come and gone. The combined audience for all three is now dwarfed by a Giants-Titans preseason game. Diamonds may be forever, but James Bond, or at least the actors who've played James Bond, are not. When Joe Montana retired, we all understood he was the greatest quarterback of all time. Then came Tom Brady. If the Chiefs had beaten Philly back in February, Mahomes as the GOAT talk would be all the rage. But KC didn't win, and now that moment is lost, like tears in the rain. But since time is a circle, every new season brings with one ring to rule them all. And with that, a fresh chance for the debating to resume. Now, of course, no matter what happens, you won't get a ring. That's for the players. What you do get is the memory. So here comes another season for you to witness, so you can contribute to the eternal conversation. Or you can scissor off your loved one's skin. But be forewarned, it's not like the cold hard fact, and more accurately here, the cold hard flesh is necessarily any better. That tattoo of the Steeler helmet has the logo on the wrong side. The hypercycloids go in the right side, yinz. Personally, I think she's well within her rights to sue the tattoo artists. Yoy and double yoy. Start the show. Hi and hello, my fellow football Americans. Today's episode of Football America is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. And in honor of episode 3, the player who wears the crown as the NFL's all-time best, number 3 is, I guess, Russell Wilson. There really aren't very many other good options unless you want to go with Jan Stenerud. I do think Rich Karlis, the barefoot kicker, who's most remembered for missing the overtime kick in Cleveland that did send the Broncos to the Super Bowl. It would have hit the upright if those uprights extended a little bit further there. I'm certainly not going to go with Trent Richardson. Meantime, week 3 or week -3 of my weekly Super Bowl 60 pick, I'm sticking with the Bills versus the Niners. There's no reason to change it just yet. Got you covered coast to coast as meaningful football draws ever closer. Geoff Schwartz is coming at us in Carolina. 10-day Tonys in Miami with the Fuentes Brothers, who, as usual, have the con. Dave Damashek here in L.A. Right now, though, to New York. It's Objective Bradley with the news.
Thanks, Dave. We're minutes away from what NFL playoff seedings are as teams climb Mount Lombardi. But first, the football week began with some big quarterback announcements. The Indianapolis Colts named Daniel Jones as their starter, while Cleveland Browns announced 40-year-old Joe Flacco as its top dog. Sheck, you think these decisions elevate them as Super Bowl contenders?
No, I do not. And in fact, it may well hamstring them for upcoming Super Bowl appearances. Yeah, certainly the Browns are out of it. You know, I have to keep my powder dry here, though. Like you said, we're about to, along with Geoff Schwartz, to announce the seeds 1 through 7 in both the AFC and NFC, which would tip which teams I think are not going to go to the playoffs. Instead, 10-day Tony's here. Help us out, and then we'll hear from the Fuenteses, too. How are you, 10-day Tony? Excited for football? Happy football season, pal.
It's great to be here, Dave. I do have one question. Does Bradley always dress like that? Obviously, this is my first time on Football America. Does he wear the vest with the... Okay.
Yeah, well, he's the newsman, man.
Okay, no, just making sure. I didn't know if the vest was something.
Look, you're here to represent one region of fandom. Bradley has no team. That's perfect for us. He's black
he's the
and
man
white,
of the
right
shield.
down the middle.
So now that we have that settled, are we making jokes here?
I would like you to crack wise at your convenience, but
I'm just saying, like,
now, Super
Super Bowl contenders for the Colts and for the Browns, bringing up two quarterbacks that were Joe Flacco, kind of 40 years old, if last time I checked. And
He's a Super Bowl champion.
Sure, yeah, in 2012. Right? Last time I checked. And Daniel Dimes on his second team now that has already given up on him. Now getting another crack with a team that's kind of okay. It's
very professional. Daniel Dimes. Not Danny. Daniel Dimes.
No. We're
Gotcha.
going Indiana Jones, fellas.
Yeah,
I don't
Daniel
know
Dimes.
if you missed the update. That's the good one.
Indiana Jones. I love that. Wow.
Okay, I'm back in. Even though you guys know I have a little MVP flyer on Daniel Jones. Now the first step is complete. We got Anthony Richardson out of the way. Daniel Jones. What is it?
You called him Daniel Dimes.
Did I?
He's got to earn Danny.
Indiana Jones, can he crack the whip and take the Colts to the playoffs? Listen, easy to be cynical about the Browns, but if you want to, 10-Day Tony, I want to start the annual exercise. I'm going to sit it out this year and defer to you guys. I want to cobble together this time of the year. It is way easier to make a case for the teams that are going to make the playoffs than to identify the teams that absolutely positively are not. And you say, oh, well, obviously I know the Browns. Good luck getting to 3 or 4. Start us off here, 10-Day Tony. Name a team that you know is not going to make the playoffs this year.
I know for a fact that the New Orleans Saints are not going to make the playoffs this year. Tyler Shuck, it's going to take a lot for them to overcome even a weak division. Tyler Shuck, we still don't know what he is, hasn't taken an NFL snap yet. I do like Kellen Moore as an offensive guru there. I just don't think that Tyler Shuck is going to be good enough or play early enough to actually make a difference.
Okay, there we go. We're off and running. I think that's a good, pretty safe bet that the New Orleans Saints aren't going to make their way into the postseason. Who's next? Let's go to Mike. Mike, can you add to that list?
I'm going to go a not too obvious route, but still pretty obvious. I'm going to say the Las Vegas Raiders. And not because they're going to be a terrible team, but I think they're in a very strong division. You got the AFC champion Chiefs, the rising Chargers, and the tough out Denver Broncos. So I'm going to say the Las Vegas Raiders are already eliminated from the playoffs.
I'm not weighing in because, again, if I say too much, then it will tip what I'm about to say when we get Geoff Schwartz on the line. So I want you guys to settle this amongst yourselves. Are we in agreement so far, Fuentes Brothers and 10-Day Tony? Are we right so far? Saints, Raiders, both watching the playoffs along with the rest of us from home.
I'm good with it. I mean, have we excluded the Browns from this? Like, can I not pick the Browns?
You can throw
now?
the Browns. That's the easiest
the Browns
one
are the
to take them
obvious
all.
one. Yeah. If you got 5 quarterbacks, you don't got one.
Amen. Mm-hmm. My issue with the Raiders, I like what the Raiders are doing. It's just like Mike said, they're in a really tough division. But I like Geno Smith, Chip Kelly, Aston Genty, Pete Carroll. Like, I like the things that Brock Bowers. I like what they're doing there. If they were like in the AFC South, I think they would be a for sure playoff team. But the AFC West has studs.
Who your neighbors are is everything in the NFL, and whether or not you can win the division or overcome. I mean, those are 6 games out of 17, obviously significant what division you inhabit. Okay, up to 3 now. This is sort of like name that tune in reverse. Let's see how many teams we can name before we no longer are singing the right song here. Tony, you're next.
I'm going to take the New York Jets. I think they're in rebuilding mode. New coaches. I think quarterback is not ready yet. I think Justin Fields is below average. Their personnel is kind of in flux. They're going to trade Breece Hall. They're going to keep him. They want to play 3 running backs. Like, what is that going to do to the continuity of the offense? Garrett Wilson I like, but who's going to be throwing the ball? Justin Fields. So I'm going to take the Jets as a team not to make the playoffs.
They're super intriguing. I will spoiler alert it here and say I do not have the Jets making the playoffs. I feel comfy saying that no one anticipated me saying that in the first place. Mike, build on that. I think the Jets are right. And the Raiders, out of the teams named so far, that's the one I feel like I'm most suspect.
Yeah, well, I'm going to
suspicious about here.
I'm going to stay on the East Coast, New York state of mind, the New York Giants. While we do like what Jackson Dart is doing in the preseason, you got the Super Bowl champions, the Washington Commanders, and the maybe good this year, hopefully, Dallas Cowboys. So the New York Giants, just like the AFC West and the NFC East, they're the odd man out.
I will say one thing about the Giants, that defensive line is
tough.
serious.
Yeah.
That other than that, the rest of the team is awful. but that defensive line is going to make life hell for quarterbacks.
I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it for the 1,001st. They're just not going to be in a situation. The area of strength for them is going to be pass rush. How often in second halves are they going to be up on teams, though? That's when you really take advantage of having a difference-making pass rush. Gino, you're next now. Okay, so we're 5 through, and I feel fairly comfortable that you guys are right so far.
Okay, I think Mike Ryan's going to hate me on this one, but I think it's way too early for the Titans. Cam Ward is going to change things, but I think they're going to lose a lot of games, 31-35.
Wow.
Defense is just not there yet. They might have the quarterback fixed. That offense is probably going to throw a lot. I don't think they got the defense to stop anyone.
Ton of holes in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tony, that kind of feels like what we saw a year ago in Foxborough, kind of the perfect thing if you're a Titans fan. Are there Titans fans? I mean, are there real ones, like Nashville-based?
Dozens of them, for sure.
And that's the sense I get. That I think you're about right on that number. But Tony, I think you have to have some level of amnesia to declare that the Titans have no chance at the postseason after watching what the commies just did. They were a punchline. They got the answer at QB, and then we're in the title game. Voila, easy peasy.
Their skill position players basically stayed the same. They added Austin Eckler. They added Cliff Kingsbury, who his stint in Arizona, we didn't really have any faith in him. Directing Kyler Murray's offense looked stagnant and looked completely cut off vertically. And then you just insert Jaden Daniels like, oh, wow, he's an MVP candidate and this team's going to be good for the next 15 years. How did that happen? So for me, it's like, even though I hesitate saying Tennessee's not going to make the playoffs, I'm gonna go with Gino there. I think they miss.
Can I just say that conveniently we're all cowards? NFC North untouched, NFC West untouched.
Well, listen, I'm going to go
to
last 3, and then we move on to the next news story. Bradley's all dressed up. I don't want to waste it on just one story. Quickly, Tony, let's do 3 more. Let's see if we can do 9 total here, and then we'll check back as the season rolls along to see how accurate you guys are.
Tony, you better be on a rocket because we're running out of time.
This one's not going to be sexy. Carolina, even though everybody likes Bryce Young this year, they're done. Atlanta, I love Michael Penix. They're done. Let me go to the AFC North, and I'm very sorry, Dave. Pittsburgh not making the playoffs there either. So Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Carolina.
Cut off his mic, please. That's enough out of him. I thought we gave him a nice introduction, and we're being friendly with him and everything, and then he went and did that. I don't understand the attack. Bradley, give us one more story, would you please? We have Geoff Schwartz waiting.
The Dallas Cowboys, still America's team?
You know, if we can elect a new American Idol every year, surely we can elect a new America's team every year. The Cowboys have treated it like some sort of PR thing rather than the truth, or I think the rest of America regards it as some empty title that they've attached to themselves. Very quickly, Tony, who are the true nominees, the true candidates for America's Team 2025?
Let's go Detroit, Buffalo, San Francisco.
Right. Gino, you want to throw one into the mix there? I think we owe it to the Cowboys to at least include them in there. It'd be overly cynical to just cut them out of this.
It makes me feel icky, but the Chiefs, just because we are where we are. And
let's move on. It's time to ascend Mount Lombardi. All right, I'm over the moon about this one. Geoff Schwartz is smarter than you. Now available on the Football America YouTube page. We're better for it, coast to coast. He is my main man. That's why his jersey hangs for all of time on the digital wall of fame back in old Studio 66. It's Geoff Schwartz. What's happening, fella? How are you? And happy football season.
Happy fall season to you. I am excited to be here, excited to be on with you. I was told beforehand by you and others that this is only 20 minutes. We're allowed to talk for 20 whole minutes because typically in the past, we have scheduled 20 minutes and it has been a little more than that. So I'm hoping that we can be concise today and not upset our new bosses here and make this a very concise podcast between the both of us.
Yeah, Dan Lebitard dispatches when it's time to record. He dispatches a couple of his minions. They're just off camera. They have a hook that they use to pull me off. Like I say, important work to do here, and it is this. The 17 games that are about to kick off in the NFL are all appetizer, hors d'oeuvre to the main event, that is the playoffs. It's about climbing Mount Lombardi. So set in your brain, if you will, the idea that there is a mountain. You ever watch Price is Right way back in the day? The alpine climber, guy, and you'd see how high up he can get. Imagine football teams now inhabiting that personification of the mountain climber. Let's see how high they can go. And we'll start it off in the NFC. This is really all that matters. All the noise, all the talk. It's about if you get in and then where you're going to be seated. It is real important, even in the age now of only one team getting a bye and not having to play in the wild card round. It still is 50% of the teams who get that one seed advancing to the Super Bowl. And over the course of this millennium, the percentage is much higher for the teams that have a bye. So, okay, critically important. Let's start it off in the NFC, and we'll do it with the reigning number one seeded Lions. Some not small changes, much buzzed about. Both coordinators now have moved on to other areas in football America. I think at least as important is that 40% of their offensive line has also moved on. Where are they going to land this year? It's time to find out. Let's see. The 5 seed. Intrigue right out of the gate. The NFC North will belong to one of the other 3 teams. How say you, Jimmy? Yeah. Stunned?
I don't think it's a crazy take, and let me tell you why. They are a team I'm eyeing as like an under team just because of their schedule. And schedule does matter a lot, right? So they play their division opponents, as we know, very tough division. But the rest of their non-division games, which again don't matter for division, but it matters for win-loss record, obviously, right? They're at Baltimore, they're at Cincinnati, they're at Kansas City, they're also at Washington, they're at Philly, they're at Los Angeles. Maybe Stafford's back by then is better. And they end the season, by the way, at Minnesota and at Chicago. That's a formidable schedule. You're not going to win, I would say 7% of those games. If you split those games, you're probably going to be in the 5 seed. I'm intrigued to see who your NFC North champion is, right. But I don't think this is that crazy. I think people have to maybe understand that the Lions, despite I think we all agree, very talented team still, that their schedule might get them to a 5 seed.
Yeah, and, I think the rest of the neighborhood is playing a little bit of catch-up. Specifically, I think the Chicago Bears are much better. And Rob and Peter, to pay Paul, you take Ben Johnson away from the Lions and he stays in the division against you. I don't think that's a small matter either. Here's the about as hot a football take as I have. By the end of this regular season, Hendon Hooker will take meaningful snaps for the Detroit Lions. That's a prediction, and not because of Jared Goff injury. All right, let's move on here to answer your question. Bears with Ben Johnson, the Vikes with J.J. McCarthy, Jordan Love and company with a perceived step back in 2024. How about this season? Here come the Packers. They are your North champions, and they lock in as the NFC 3 seed. Geoff Schwartz, how say you?
Yeah, I mean, the Packers last year lost a bunch of close games to playoff teams. They basically beat everyone else. If they're able to take the next step as a young roster that just gets better one more year, I still question wide receiver. I think Golden obviously needs to be good almost immediately. But again, I want to make sure, guys, they won a lot of games last year, and the games they lost, 3 points, 5 points. It wasn't like you're blown up by playoff teams. It does feel like they're a sneaky division winner that no one's talking about when you talk about just who wins divisions in the NFL. I will say, though, the best quarterback typically wins every division. If you're previewing divisions, just check the best quarterback. That's typically the one who's going to win the division. Is Jordan Love the best in this division? He might be at the moment. He might end the season as the best.
I think there is a weird thing that happens in our brains at this point in man's recorded history, which is if a team doesn't make massive changes in the offseason, we sort of sleep on them a little bit. They're nice and stable, Green Bay, as ever, as much as Aaron Rodgers tried to mess up that energy. I think they got through it clean on the other side. So I like the Packers. Obviously, I have them as the 3 seed. Who will come out of the NFC South, though? Bacon Company have had a stranglehold on it. Some are even picking that team to go to the Super Bowl. Let's take a gaze at this. Wait a minute. Michael Penix's music. It's the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think a lot of people see this one coming. I was a little premature in 2024. I took the bait. It wasn't necessarily even because of Kirk Cousins. It was because I think that team is building a nice roster sort of quietly, and I think they have a chance to keep up offensively with the Buccaneers this year, and that's not that is legitimately saying something because the Bucs should be mighty offensively. I think Tampa Bay is going to have a lousy defense, and I think Atlanta's might be halfway decent. Ergo, division championship. How say you, Schwartz?
Yeah, no. I actually thought you were going to go with the Panthers here as sneaky South champions. They're the team to me that I think they're a more well-rounded team than the Falcons. I think the Falcons quarterback is better, right? As of right now, the Panthers guys did a ton of work this offseason to fix their issues they have, especially defensively. And I think the Panthers ascended last year at the right time to feel good about this season. If it's not the Bucs, to me, it's the Panthers. I'm also, look, the Falcons too, Dave, are a team that I perpetually get wrong. If I wager on them to cover a game, they don't cover it. If I wager on the team who they're playing to cover the game, the Falcons cover that game. Like, I never get them right. So maybe it's just me, again, not getting the Falcons right.
Boy, we're getting a lot of pro Carolina Panthers talk. Greg Olson last week, Geoff Schwartz this week. All right. Listen, I hear your noise. I'm not that much of a cynic to turn my nose up at Bryce Young. The NFC West is going to be a fascinating division. Kyler Murray's now the elder statesman in terms of time spent in that division. Is January in the cards for that team, though? Let's find out right now, shall we? The 70! Short flight for the Cardinals, but they'll take it, and so will their fan base. They get into the playoffs. How say you, Geoff Schwartz?
I need to see the rest of the NFC West before I have a say on the Cardinals. Or really what the rest of your NFC looks like. Oh boy.
You want to put a pin in that one?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Then next up, let's check in on the Super Bowl champions. How high will the Eagles fly in their repeat bid? They'd love that wild card round off this season. Will they get it? For the 2 seed, they will not get the 1 seed. It remains available. The Eagles in a nice spot just the same. Geoff Schwartz, how say you?
So I think I know where you're going now with the 1 seed, and schedule wise, that makes a lot of sense for the 1 seed. I think I know where you're going here. The Eagles are going to be good. It's hard to defend a championship, as we know. Offensive line, Dickerson, I believe, is going to play week 1, but maybe not. They replaced the right guard. They have their pass rush, their defensive ends had to replace the offensive coordinator. So there's a lot of new there. Division is tougher than with the Cowboys. I think it'll be better this year. The Giants won't be an easy out because their defense. So they're the 1 or 2 seed in my mind in the NFC.
I think from a fantasy perspective, if you're a buyer out there, I think the Dallas Cowboys have a lot of intriguing options there too. I don't know that, especially with the Micah Parsons situation, that they're going to be able to keep up on that side of the ball. I'm interested to know what Geoff Schwartz thinks is coming up here with the 1 seed. We only have 2 spots left in the NFC. I've already told you my Super Bowl pick over the first couple of weeks of the show. Let's cut to the chase here. Do you know who it is, Geoff Schwartz? Go ahead.
Am I guessing?
Yeah, go ahead. Take a guess.
I'm going to guess the 49ers.
Let's take a look. The San Francisco 49ers, are they getting into to the top of the mountain they go? The 1 seed it is. I feel like people think this is crazy to claim. I feel like the entire 2024 season deserves a whole red shirt. They were decimated by injury, all the Deebo Samuel stuff, all the rest of it. How say you?
They're going to be a favorite in 16 or 17 games. Their schedule is pretty easy, right? They get the 4th place schedule with essentially 1st place talent because of last season. And it comes down to health, right? Can they stay healthy again? They are a very top-heavy roster. I think Christian McCaffrey, like Offensive Player of the Year, is certainly possible in a bounce-back year. Trent Williams is back, right? Their defensive line is going to be fine. They added in the 1st round. Robert Saleh being the D coordinator is a huge boost for them. Shanahan's running the offense, good coaching staff. But this doesn't surprise me at all. With their schedule and the players they have and presumed healthier season, makes total sense.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it kind of in passing among all those reasons that you like them, but I think Bob Sala's return to San Francisco. Okay, so it didn't work out in New York. It doesn't work out for just about anybody with the Jets, but
Correct.
to those cozy confines, I like their trajectory there. All right, listen, all of a sudden we're down to it. We have one slot left, a wild card at that. Gather round, Rams and Hawks, Bears, Bucks, America's alleged team, Commies. Who gets that 6th seed? The Minnesota Vikings. You did it, JJ McCarthy. This is a KOC pick for me. Geoff Schwartz, what do you think?
Wow, I have so many questions. So first of all, KOC was on the broadcast for a quarter this past weekend, with Paul Allen. It was great. It was awesome. I love KOC. Okay, so we're the Vikings are better than the Commanders. That's what we're going with here. And where the
by the end of 17 games, the record for this season will say that the Vikings were superior than the Commies.
And the Cardinals too?
Yeah, that's what I just forecasted.
Oh boy.
So
what are the Commanders? 8-9?
I think that there are, I think that the NFC, if you kind of just are making the same assumptions that you've made for the last season or two, it's like the NFC is soft. Not anymore. There's some legitimate teams out there, and the playoff spots is 7 is not enough for how many good teams there are. There are some 9-win teams, maybe some 10-win teams that are left on the outside looking in this year.
Last question for you on the NFC side. If Stafford was healthy, where would the Rams be?
I was all about the Rams. I
Same.
have been about Stafford and McVay and what they did on defense last year. I was keen on them going into Philly, really taking a shot at them. They did almost get over the hump. It's too weird. The Stafford thing has gone on just long enough. And even if he is out there and ready to go and looking good in week 1, now you have to have it in the back of your head like, man, if he takes a bad shot, is he going to have to sit out for several weeks? Is he going to have to go under the knife? Too murky for me, so I'm staying away. Do you like overall? Do you want to change your number 1 seed? I'd like to hear what Geoff Schwartz thinks is the number 1 seed in the A.
Look, I've said whether on Geoff Schwartz this morning, you have not got it to the NFC West yet. But the Niners to have the best record in the NFL is a very live thing because of their schedule. Guys, their schedule is a joke. It just happens to work out this way this season. 4th place schedule, right? So they get 3 crossover games that are their 4th place teams. And they get the South, I believe, and they get both Souths, right? The season. It's a very manageable schedule, especially if the Rams and Stafford are going to be hurt. Like you just get it's a good situation for them. So I think it's very, very live for them to be the 1 seed. It does not bother me. I feel like you're going to piss me off in the AFC just because I think you are. But the NFC, the wild card stuff. I mean, feels like for you toss ups, but I can live with those. But it feels like the 1 and 2 is about where they should be.
Well, by the way, the Niners' schedule isn't just the easiest this year. It's sort of historically, or at least over the course of the last decade, it presents as one of the easiest schedules available for any pro football team in the last decade at least. So,
yes.
Yeah, I think there's great value in the Niners. All right, let's do the Mount Lombardi AFC side of the mountain and see who's going to be able to scale that. Dealer's choice, and I'm the dealer, so let's start with the Steelers.
No. Here we go. That's just waiting for him first. Just have the 1 seed signed up for the 1 seed. Just put him in there.
What is it? What is it that you've ever heard from me that makes you think that I just blindly put the? Do I pick the Steelers to go to the Super Bowl?
No, you actually don't. You pick the Chargers. Sorry.
I will tell you when I tell you when the Steelers are going to stink. How dare you, sir? All right, I'm going to continue now. As you may have heard, they've treated this offseason quite differently than they've ever treated an offseason before. And I'm not just talking about the Mike Tomlin era. Did you hear about they got Aaron Rodgers? Now, will they make the playoffs? Let's find out. Ayahuasca aided to the 6th seed. How say you, Geoff Schwartz?
I don't know. You win football games without scoring offensive touchdowns. The voodoo continues. I think I text you every time that happens. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know. Sure, 6 seed. It doesn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise. Nothing surprises me with. But there's no reason they win half of their games. It's just like Here's the reason, Dave. I'll tell you the reason. It's actually it's an actual reason.
That's overly skeptical. The defense is loaded up.
Here's
one of the top 3 defenses in the conference this year.
Here's why Pittsburgh wins a lot of games. It's actually a real thing. I mean, it's why Kansas City wins a lot of games too. Is they don't make a ton of really bad mistakes in a game. Like, they don't have dumb penalties. They obviously try not to turn the ball over, but they typically don't have a lot of turnovers, and they play a very clean game, and they force other teams to make mistakes. And when you get to the fourth quarter, they're good on special teams, right? They can rush the passer really well. Like, those are things that win football games in the NFL in the fourth quarter. And they play the style of football where they just keep it close, and then boom, you get strip sacked or you have a dumb play, and they take advantage of that. So there is a quality to that in the NFL. And so Pittsburgh being the 6th seed wouldn't surprise me, especially if I think this is, if you're doing that, you probably have downgraded the Bengals is my guess. And so we'll see as we go. I'm excited for the Chargers to win the AFC West in your prediction. So let's go.
What a creep. All right, fine.
7 years running. You have to do it for 8 years in a row now.
Okay, main event is the battle for the 1 seed. Obviously, going to land come January. 2 seed. I thought they might go all the way to the top, but they come up just short. Schwartz, how say you?
I think they're the 1 seed this year. So I think we're in the same boat here. Very good football team. Just can't be the Chiefs in the postseason. That's that simple. I mean, them and the Ravens, according to DVOA, have had like some of the best 4-year stretches in NFL history to have never played in a Super Bowl. They have Patrick Mahomes' problem. And so, yeah, the 2 seed makes a ton of sense. I think there's 3 options for this 1 seed. There's 2 options left. We'll see if you have them up there. There's a 4th wild card, by the way, that you might throw at me. I'm kind of curious if the wild card happens.
We'll get to that. In the meantime, though, I'm old enough to remember the Baltimore Colts, and the Baltimore Colts were in the AFC East. And back then, the Miami Dolphins, for all the songs being sung about Don Shula, and as great as he was, ground and pound with Zonka and Mercury Morris and Jim Kick and Bob Greasy, providing as much to the team, maybe a tick more than Dave Damashek did, just a passenger along for the ride. Then the 80s arrived and Dan Marino exploded, and I contend that Shula failed Marino. A number of terrible drafts, and it's largely because Shula's line of thinking was outmoded, specifically around Marino. He failed him to some degree. That's why Marino didn't get back to a Super Bowl after that second season. I think Sean McDermott limits Josh Allen. I get what you said about Mike Tomlin and risk aversion, and that's the way the Steelers have approached it, and it's worked, especially since Roethlisberger hurt his elbow. I don't think that's the same rule that McDermott should be applying when he has Josh Allen at QB.
I agree with that. I think right now the Bengals are almost closer to what the Dolphins did to Marino than the Bills are. The Bengals right now are just there. We'll maybe get to them at some point in this little mountain here. But the Bengals, I mean, they made it to a Super Bowl in Burrow's third year, right? I think it was his 3rd year.
Yeah, that might have been his 2nd year.
Okay, 2nd year. But the point is, they made it early in his career like Marino, and ever since then they just sabotaged him the entire way.
I know. I really want to get on board. Even as a Steelers fan, I really can't help but like Joe Cool. I do think
Joe's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, although he did get what he wanted, he needed to have his 2 guys, so he got him. Something is going to fall off on the other side, you would think, and here we are now with the mess that is going to be that defense. Okay, the 1 seed is still in play. The Bengals are in play for it. A lot of buzz around Sean Payton's Mile High Gang. Can they scale to the top or at least get into the tourney? Let's find out. The mountain climbing boots aren't necessary. They just scaled a foothill there to the 7 seed. How say you, Schwartz?
I think they're going to be better than Pittsburgh. So
okay, but whether they're a better team, I'm talking about the record, man. I'm talking about where they're.
Well, if I think they're going to have a better record, then they're going to be at the 6 seed or 5 seed.
Okay, you think they're going to have a better record?
Yeah, I think Denver is really good. It just comes down to the advancement of Bo Nix, right? Does Bo Nix take that next step into year two? Is there more offense given to him? Is there a little more variety in what he can do? Defense can be really good. Offensive line is good. Running backs, wide receivers, that's all good. Sean Payton can coach. It's that can Nix, and I know preseason is what it is, but their defense has looked pretty good in the preseason, just like even the backups. Like the whole thing has looked really good so far. So I think the Broncos are in the playoffs, but a 5 or a 6 seed.
I mean, I can talk myself into the Broncos winning the West. I think the defense, like I already said, is going to be a top 2 or 3 unit in the conference. I think they are set up to really brutalize their foes and really, put some attrition on them fancy pantses from KC and from LA. Is Bo Nix ready to roll? Is he ready to elevate a little bit? I'm going to put them, like I say, they're behind the Steelers. So have my cake and some pie there. AFC South, much like the NFC South, is the redheaded stepkid of its conference. The NFL and the SEC, it just means less. I think we can agree about that.
It does, yeah.
The Jags and Colts are hoping to knock off the Texans. Can either do it? It's time to find out. They're the Jags. They're the Texans. They're the Colts. Here we go. That's right. Danny Dimes does it. He got him to the division crown. How say you, Geoff Schwartz? That excited, huh?
So I know you told me about this idea for the Mountain a couple of days ago, which means that you decided on this before they announced who the starting quarterback was.
Well, you think it wasn't going to be Dimes?
I don't know what it was going to be, but this is the one out of what we've done now. This would be 11 teams, I think, in this exercise. This one is my least favorite. Daniel Jones is not good at football. We've been over this many times before. The winner of a division. 7 out of 8 of them, right? Mostly 8 of 8 are the best quarterback. I don't see CJ Stroud or Trevor Lawrence essentially being worse than Daniel Jones. And so
how about this? Cam Ward either.
Probably, but Tennessee has a lot of holes on the roster around Cam Ward. So this is the one the other ones you had, I could believe it. Okay, sure. But no, I'm out on this one.
You're hard to pin down because I know it's a players' league, but you also admire difference-making coaches, and I think Lou Anarumo is that. I think that what you saw Fangio do with the Eagles a year ago, this is a poor man's version of it, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm talking about the Colts going to a Super Bowl or anything, but I think Anarumo is going to tune that defense up behind that offensive line, and Jonathan Taylor, he is the X factor because of health issues. When he's right, they are a different team. And look at the quarterbacks they were running out there last year. They got to 8 games. I don't see a reason that they should drop off there. And for the people who say 1-score games and all of that, they were on the wrong side of some really tight games against good teams a year ago.
I'm not backing Daniel Jones to win a division. I'm sorry. I don't care what spin you put on it.
All right. We're running out of room. Better claim a seat quick in the game of musical chairs. Chiefs. They're going to take their division for the 87th year in a row. It's time to find out. Not happy. They're going to have to settle for the 5 seed, Geoff Schwartz. What do you think?
You did it again.
Raiders or the Cardinals? We don't know yet.
It's not the Raiders. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah.
My only thing with the Chiefs is I'll just make the case quickly. The team is better this year in offense. Last year they lost Rashee Rice after 3.5 games. Now he will be suspended for some point this year. Hollywood Brown was hurt last season. He's back right now. Xavier Worthy year 2. We see with rookie wideout takes about 12-16 games to feel really comfortable there, right? Pacheco's healthy. Offensive line, there's some question marks. I'll give you a left guard for the most part right now with Kingsley. The defense is the defense. It doesn't have to be great. And Kelsey looks great. He's lost 20 pounds. He admitted last year that he came in a little out of shape. World tour with his girlfriend, which is fine. I mean, I think we all agree that we'd all live that life as well. There's no shame in that. But I think we're going to see a better version of Kansas City this season.
Couple things. First of all, I don't think you say it's one of those things that people just throw out. Oh, who wouldn't want to live the Taylor Swift life? I think you would get bored with that. I think I would get bored.
Well, I didn't marry Taylor Swift, so that's also why.
You got to see the same show, and it's like isn't it like a 2 or 3 hour extravaganza, and you got to sit through that every single time? People complain about their significant other dragging them to football games. At least the results change. They don't it doesn't go the exact same. The Taylor Swift show is the same show whether you're in Tokyo or in Altoona. Right?
I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't want to date a pop star then. If I do the same show every night. I hadn't thought about that.
You don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to worry about it, thankfully.
But all right, enough on the Chiefs. Geoff has made his predictions. Let's find out. What is the fate of the Raiders and or the Chargers? The Chargers have taken the AFC West. They did it, Geoff. Are you happy for them?
You'll be right after 9 years of predicting the Chargers to win the division. You'll finally get it right. The Slater injury is a problem. Moving all to left tackle. You talk about the Chiefs' offensive line.
I thought you liked that. I thought you said that.
No, I think Alt's going to be fine. The problem is now you're worse at right tackle, and you already have question mark to center and left guard. Matthew McConaughey, obviously, we'll see his health. I mean, Trey Harris can't catch a pass. That's not a good thing. I love Harbaugh's mentality. I like the way that he builds his teams, but again, I got to see a little bit more from that team to win the division.
Skepticism is fine. Obviously, we haven't seen this Chargers era really pay off the way so many of us keep expecting them to, but I'm riding with Harbaugh here. I mean, it's the Harbaugh season 2 magic, and so I'm rolling with that even in a rugged division. Really should be as interesting a division as there is. I have them as the 3 seed. We'll see. They're at the 3 seed, so no Raiders or Texans or Dolphins. That means we only have the 1 seed left. It's feast or famine for the Ravens and the Bengals. Win the North or go home and watch the playoffs with Geoff Schwartz. Of course, the Ravens get it. How say you?
I mean, at this point for Baltimore and Buffalo, it's not about what you do in the regular season. It's about what you do in the postseason. And these teams are going to win a ton of regular season games. They're going to can you beat Kansas City when it matters most in the postseason? And in this scenario, Buffalo gets a chance first, right? We'll be 4-5. So it'll be the Ravens potentially getting a chance first off a bye to host Kansas City. So they have to do it at this point. Like we know what these teams are. We know Baltimore's going to be good. We know Buffalo's going to be good. It's that can they beat Kansas City in the postseason?
But also, and I hear you completely, but I kind of feel like they're in a weird spot, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and their teams in general, but also the Chiefs too have a weird sort of pressure after getting destroyed the way they did by the Eagles. And so that looms for them, I'm sure. But it's weird because you're exactly right. Their fan bases are going to be like, whatever, let's go. Let's get to the postseason. It's all that matters. But, of course, the 1 seed means a great deal. If you can avoid having to play
of course
teams, you're in a way better position if you're the Ravens or the Bills, right?
The 1 seed is so valuable. This clip was floating around, but and I was watching a little bit of the Kingdom, the new Chiefs miniseries, and Andy Reid, they won Christmas, I think, right, to win the 1 seed, and you saying yeah, oh yeah, that was that game, yeah, and then Andy Reid came in like in a Santa costume, like the happiness and joy for getting that 1 seed, man, it's so valuable, and Ravens or Bills, if they get it, I think it's Buffalo, that one less game, right? You get to rest, like all those things are so important to winning a championship.
I just think to round out the AFC and in general the Chiefs vibe right now, and you know better than I do, you're closer to them. I feel like it has to matter to them that there really wasn't, since the Brady overtime game and D Ford and all of that, between then and the Super Bowl against the Eagles, there wasn't a ton that would creep into anybody on that team's mind that's like, when push comes to shove, we're going to come through in the end. The Buccaneers lost. They didn't have their whole offensive line. And now they know it's important that the other teams know it, but I think the Chiefs now know they bleed. That's not good.
Or that motivates them to not bleed again.
I hear you, but I just think that there's a little bit of there's got to be some doubt that didn't exist prior to what the
I think so. When you get physically beat like that, because again, you're right. Their team was whole in that game, and we don't talk a lot, but their pass rush also did not hit Jalen Hurts at all. Like they just didn't really play well on either side of the ball. So, more motivates them. We'll see how it happens.
Yeah, a 47-year-old man who dates Taylor Swift losing some weight. I don't think that is as big a factor as people seem to be making it out to be. He's at the tail end. I have always agreed with you. He is the X factor of that offense.
Yes.
Or anybody else, but he's old now. So
he is old. I want to make that on the record that I was probably the first person to say that. Tyreek Hill. No, it's always been Travis Kelce.
That's true.
Travis Kelce.
To be fair, I think that's right. Hey, listen, all sorts of gems like that coming out of Geoff Schwartz. Make sure you're tracking down. Geoff Schwartz is smarter than you. The easiest way to do that, if you want to support Football America, is go to the Football America YouTube page. It's also available wherever you find your audio podcasts. Matt Ford is a great fellow. Everybody over there at Blue Duck is as well. It's worth the listen every week to make sure you're up to speed. All right, there goes Geoff Schwartz. Make sure, like we already said, check out on YouTube, Football America page as the subscribers add in there. Surely Geoff Schwartz's inclusion will increase that. Appreciate Schwartz making some time for us here, despite the disagreements. Tony's still with us. What jumped out to you from who I had making it up onto the side of Mount Lombardi there?
Dave, I'm just really surprised you're high on the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm not high on them, but okay.
High, you had them in the playoffs. I mean, that's calling them high. They're one of the best 7 teams in the NFC.
I mean, okay, they're only 16. It's not like I'm putting them into the college football playoff or anything.
Sure.
But yeah, okay, listen, I hear you because no jive. Tony, we don't know each other very well, and I have to establish here and now, if I haven't already, the cardinal rule of this program, as with all my programs, a no jive policy must be intact. And I'm not going to jive you. And I'm not saying that Dave of 5 minutes ago was wrong, but he might be wrong. And if the 5 minutes ago Dave was wrong, it was with that pick. I think if I had it to do over again, I might put the Chicago Bears in there over the Arizona Cardinals. But I do think Kyler's going to have a big year, and I really like what that offense is capable of doing, and I at least like the pieces they have on defense.
The pieces, I think their defense is going to be better than it was last year. I like the pieces. I like McBride. I think if Marvin Harrison Jr. can start to really come out of his shell and start earning some high-value targets down the field. My issue is with Kyler. I just don't think, he's, I think, one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL in the last couple of years, targeting guys deep, targeting guys to the boundary. There's a lot of things that Kyler does really well, getting out of the pocket, making things when there's nothing there, but throwing the ball deep and throwing the ball to the boundary is things you need as a quarterback, and he just simply doesn't have them. I just don't trust him late in the season.
My eye still, after all these years of watching Kyler, has not adjusted to watching him out there at quarterback. He looks tiny running around out there. Either way, maybe we should have included the Cardinals as an option for America's team, or maybe the Bears, but we've made our list there. We'll have that out there as a poll for you. Weigh in on that. Who should be America's team 2025? I do think we will have captured the right answer in there. I'm not going to try and... you know what? I'll Simon Cowell it. It's the Buffalo Bills. All right, I'm just going to say it. They wear red, white, and blue. We feel sad for them. They've never won a Super Bowl. We have a certain amount of pity for them. So get in there and vote on that as soon as you can. Remember, you have some skin in the game, and so you want to attach yourself to one of these teams, at least if you don't have a previous rooting interest. Tony, great stuff from you. We'll be checking you out on the Lebitard Show proper. Looking forward to that. Fuentes Brothers Dynamite stuff as always. Bradley with the news, good stuff there, pal. We need you smoking a nail. I think that'll really complete the look for you if we can get you doing that to really be a mid-century newsman. And most of all, Football Americans, we appreciate you. Keep on downloading the show however you prefer. You can find it wherever you find your audio podcasts and check it out on YouTube. Football America with an exclamation point is how you do that. We'll be back with more hooey and applesauce for you next week. We really need to expand to 2 shows. Great news. We're going to be expanding to 2 shows as soon as we get to week 1 there. We'll make do with the time we have here. We appreciate you checking it all out. So until next week, thanks so much, Football Americans. It's been a thin slice of heaven.